Hi, Editor Ed here, working on this super sick video going over all of this lovely MFM data. And there was a point in the recording with Jake where my OBS had a seizure. And the front half of the video is gone. Neither one of us can figure out how, or where it could have went, or what happened. But you're gonna see that the video starts at Gene Stealer Cult for no good reason. Super sorry if your army fits into anything alphabetically before Gene Stealer Cult. You missed great rant from Jake on Chaos Knights. You missed a great rant from me on Death Guard. Super sorry. I wish there was a way that I could figure it out and bring it back. I just simply don't know how to fix it. And unfortunately, I would rather apologize, get the video out, and at least get some information out there than not. So with that, roll that beautiful bean footage. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
This army is the biggest winner from the data slate. Or the MFM.
Yeah, I think that's pretty unarguable.
I've been playing around with different variants and different takes on the Innis list that he piloted to a few different 7.0s. Now, I will say, having watched some footage, having watched some interviews, this army functions wildly differently with WTC rules and UK GT terrain.
Yeah.
I still think that it's going to be one of the best armies in the PNW meta. Unfortunately, there's like 4 people here that play it.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds great for those 4 people.
It's me.
Yeah.
So the biggest difference that we have, unless we go to an event that uses WTC rules, which if we do, I promise you right now, I win the event.
Yeah, well, thankfully we play in a society that like understands how the game is played and aren't making insane decisions all the time, so we're fine.
So the biggest change, WTC lets you do all of your reactions at once. Instead of focusing on the phrasing of just after. So WTC, all 3 Kellermorphs can react to the same movement.
Oh, that's so stupid. That's WTC, guys. That's not how it works. That's just not how it works.
There's footage of Innis playing this army and just doing this.
God damn.
And while that is correct for that rule set,
yeah,
I'm not talking no slander of any kind.
Yeah,
like if that's the rule set I'm playing on,
yeah,
I'm also doing that.
Oh yeah, if they allow you to do that, do that. It's very strong.
It's wild. But I will also say the list that I was playing that I already felt was incredibly strong went down by a clean 100 points.
That's pretty good.
Which is a full unit of bikes plus an enhancement.
God damn.
So my current list,
or of 5-mana bikes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, 160 is not 100. Okay,
still not playing 10 mans.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think you want to be playing 10 mans.
No. Currently, my list, I'm playing Outlander Claw almost exclusively. I'm gonna test Biosantic Brood Surge later on this afternoon, because of the aberrant point drop.
Yeah.
And we have here a little point drop on Neophytes, and the Patriarch came down a little bit. So we have enough point drops to make Biosantic like I want to take a look.
Yeah.
But
we have world leaders at home.
Yeah. we have world leaders at home, but we can also get like a 15-inch charge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, with the bioscientific shenanigans.
Yeah. It's really interesting. If you declare a triple charge and suddenly you're +3 to your charge.
Yeah.
Like, that's wild.
What is Serpentine Tactics, the one that went down?
Serpentine Tactics is the one where you can only put Serpentine Tactics or Starfall shells on a Jackal Atlas.
Okay.
Or Jackal Alphys, which you're not taking.
Yeah, you're not running it. Okay.
But Serpentine Tactics gives you fall back and shoot.
Sure.
Starfall shells give whatever you target -1 to hit. But listen to this list.
Okay.
I'm just gonna rattle it off. We have 3 rock grinders. They each have a heavy mining laser.
Yep.
We have 2x2 Achilles Ridge Runner. Each of them will have heavy mining lasers and the spotters, so they hit on 3s.
Okay.
And then we have 1 Ridge Runner with a mortar.
Yep.
To enable indirect crossfire. We then have 6x5 acolytes with hand flamers. Each of them will have 2 members of the unit with demo charges. Then we have 1x5 with auto pistols, which have the 3 melee weapons that are anti-vehicle 4.
Sure.
1 unit of neophyte hybrids for sticky objectives. And then we have 3 Kellermorphs, 1 Reductus Saboteur, and 4x5 bike squads.
The bike squads are battle line?
Or, sorry, 3x5.
3x5. Okay.
Sorry.
I was like, whoa.
No. 3x5.
God, that's so much stuff. Really? Not taking a second Saboteur?
Oh, sorry. There's also 2 trucks to have more transports.
Oh, sure.
And the trucks have autocannons.
Yes.
For reasons, I guess.
Yeah. That's
so much stuff.
That's a lot of stuff.
The bikes and all of the vehicles are double OC.
Yep.
The bikes have sticky objectives. The bikes also demo charge, which is a 5 dice grenade strat.
Yep.
Whenever they end a move in your movement phase.
Yeah, you just get free mortals just everywhere.
You have essentially 3 free grenade strats, and then they have the grenades keyword.
Yeah.
So you can, at maximum, like, say your dice are just like rigged, right? You can deal 21 mortal wounds.
60. Whew. Yeah, God. That's a lot. There's a lot of stuff.
It's so much stuff. And sometimes that stuff comes back.
Sometimes.
Like,
not often, but sometimes.
Our resident Necron player that we go to a lot of GTs with, me and him played Tuesday. And we did the math. I had almost every unit come back. And some of my units came back twice.
Okay, well, yeah, when that happens.
We did the math. That turned out to be a 3,900 point game.
Yeah, that seems fine. Yeah, God, they need to rework Cold Ambush. I feel like right now Cold Ambush feels bad for both players.
It's awful.
Yeah.
I think the real thing that you do to balance the army, I know this is going to sound crazy, but you give us another round of points cuts, and then you take the reanimation away.
Yeah.
Give us our 9th ed army rule back.
Bring back blips.
Seriously. Yeah. Like, we only, like, a smidgen of points like this. Like, 5% off of most of the army. No recursion. We'll get 1, maybe 2 more units.
Yeah.
And then we have to play the game fairly now.
Yeah. I would love that. I loved blips. I thought Crossfire was super cool.
Yeah. Also, Crossfire, the way it works now from the Achilles Ridge Runner, going all the way through it goes all the way through the fight phase now.
Yeah, it's dumb.
If you have a player in your local meta who's playing Gene Stealer cults and he's good, it's gonna be hard to beat him.
Thankfully, we don't have that. No, I think GSC is going to be really good. I'm going to be super interested to see what people do with it. I'm excited to see like some stuff I wasn't anticipating happening.
Yeah.
do you think that like the Benefactus going down 70 will make him matter
So I think there's a version of Outlander Claw
with the brain bus?
with the brain bus that we tested when the codex first dropped. So the
That shit's
Benefactus-
funny. It's definitely funny.
Well, it's at minimum 7, maximum 9 las cannons that uppy downies.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Like, that's really strong.
Yeah. How many points is it for that?
So you take
it's a rock grinder.
So it's 210 for the 3 Benefactus
And
plus a rock grinder.
It's
Where is it?
120. So 330. I mean,
That's a hell of a fucking tank for 330.
yeah, it's pretty good for 330. Like 2 annihilators, kind of.
Yeah.
It's funny for sure. I want to see some Xenocreed happening.
I like Xenocreed. I like Xenocreed a lot. I played it a lot before this points update.
Yeah.
I'm going to be revisiting that list because looking at it in the app, that list went down 140 points.
Yeah. That is all that, like, literally just a flat 10-man with hand flamers.
Yeah. I'm going to give it another look. I think your strongest 2 are Outlander and Biosantic.
I would agree.
Brood Brothers is a lot more real now than it used to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Brood Brothers get to run Aquilin, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. That's why they're more real.
Yeah.
So like that version of the list actually like kind of is really good, but I'm not gonna go buy 30 Aquilins.
Yeah.
I actually like refuse to play that detachment.
I respect it.
Host of Ascension is fine. Xenocreed I think is okay. Biosantic I'm gonna test today.
I can see
But
Biosantic being fine, but it's just kind of like,
Well, I think Biosantic does really well into the other S tier armies because you have the 1 CP stratagem that gives you +1 to wound against monsters and vehicles.
yeah.
And so you're punching monsters and vehicles with your, 15 attacks on 2s, on 4s with the +1, AP 2 for 3. Like, that can punch up pretty well.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's better than Outlander Claw.
No, I think Outlander Claw is where you want to be. But yeah, so you say like bottom of S tier.
Yeah, for sure.
I think definitely
Yep.
like bottom of S, top of A. They are a real army now.
Yeah. I think if you put this army up against any A tier army, we kind of just like dunk on it.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to beat the other S tiers, which is why I will say bottom of S for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Grey Knights.
Why did they get points drops? They were pretty good. This is a problem.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think Grey Knights are one of the strongest armies in the game.
I agree. They're just, as long as secret missions are good, Grey Knights are gonna do well. They're
Which means
so good at doing it.
X Watch. We have at least 8 more months of it.
Yeah. I don't think that Terminator, like 5-man Terminator squads getting drops doesn't matter because you're not running a 5-man. The 5-man Paladin is maybe interesting. Purgation squad, I think you're probably still just running Dread Knights and stuff. You're still gonna end up doing good. You basically don't really change where you are.
I think the list is still like 5 Dread Knights, 3x5 Terminators, characters, librarians.
Yeah, uppy downy with a 3-inch deep strike strat is stupid and shouldn't be in the game.
The auto advance 6 for free.
Yeah, it's a good army. It's just good. You're gonna do well.
Your regular Dread Knight, the not Grandmaster one, has advance and charge.
Yep.
So it really just moves 14 and gets to charge afterwards.
Yep.
With its big fuck off last cannon hammer.
And fall back and charge and shoot. Yeah, it's Imperial Agents aren't real.
Not real, not even gonna look at them.
Yep.
Imperial Knights, we've heard the rant earlier.
Well, there's some stuff here.
Okay.
I think Canis going up, I want to say 30 points.
Yep.
It's something like that.
It's 30 points.
I think Canis is now appropriately costed at 450.
Is he still worth the rant that he...
Yes. I think at this point, Canis is not unfair. Canis is just very good. I think he's still running every single Imperial Knight list, but I don't think he gets souped into other stuff. The Errant and the Gallant and the Valiant, or the Errant and the Gallant getting dropped down is interesting. The Gallant is now the same points as a Rampager, which makes me cry because it is just better. Because it has a 6-up feel no pain, and I do not. It's really cool. Thank you, GW. I love this. The Castle and the Valiant dropping is interesting. Can you scroll back up to Chaos Knights and the Night Tyrant? I don't actually remember how much my Night Tyrant costs. One more. There we go. Night Tyrant 510. Okay, same cost. So that was theirs is better because they get to reroll a hit and a wound. And when you have very few attacks that do a lot of damage, that's good. I can see those starting to get run. I think the real thing for Imperial Knights is that somehow, some way, the Caladius assassin still did not get any points changes despite every single fucking Imperial Army model of like Imperial Army running it. So like they still get to run that. They still get to run Navigators to screen all their deep strikes.
Yep.
I think they got a side grade and will probably still be doing fine.
I would say solid A tier.
No.
B?
I would say C.
Really?
Yeah.
We see a lot of like X1 Knight players. I thought they'd be like better.
We see a couple X1 Knight players.
Or do we just see like the same few X1?
The same few.
I see.
So they are not as bad as Chaos Knights. Sure. They are not much better overall because Sisters and T-Sons are just like, bye. Basically, if you're really good at dealing with big knights, Imperial Knights don't matter at all. And if you're not, then they beat you instantly.
True.
But I think the top of the meta just like shit on them and they don't care. So yeah, they'll stay in like C. Votan.
I don't think this change matters at all.
It really doesn't. I mean, like, you're still taking a unit of Jaegers at least.
Maybe 2. I've seen lists play 2.
Maybe 2. It's up to you. The 5-man Hearthguard dropping down brings back the Bang Bus, sure, which is good. I really like that style of play where you just have like a bunch of 5-mans in Hecatons. Yeah. I think they're not going to change where they are. They didn't need to. They're totally fine, totally viable.
Yeah. Mid B tier.
The worst part about Votan is they have to build fucking bikes and they're the worst things ever. Yeah, it's like they're just like solid.
They're fine.
Necron. Speaking of bullshit, 3-inch deep strikes. Yahoo.
I will say I feel like I'm pretty familiar with Necrons. Mm-hmm. I play one of the top Necron players in our region every week. Yeah. We've cooked up a fairly mean list with this new points.
Yeah. Well, I think the points are not as important as the rule changes, which aren't here, but Obeisance Phalanx.
The Silent King now works in. Huge. And also like Emotech and Trazen, like the nobles now also get the benefit instead of just overlords. It's really, really, really good. Alongside that, the Triarch Praetorians dropped to pretty reasonable. Priced to move.
Yeah. Triarch Stalker, whatever, who cares? The Monolith paying for Hypercrypt sins. You might still run one in Hypercrypt. It's fine.
The Hypercrypt list that we've cooked up still plays 2. Well, because see, if you look at it, Monoliths went up, Doomsday Arcs went down.
Yeah, Doomsday
by the same number.
Yeah, Doomsday Arcs going down is insane. I think that, like, yes, it's a casino cannon, but it's a fucking ridiculous casino cannon that can also uppy and downy and 3-inch deep strike wherever it wants.
Yes. So, hear me out. Double Monolith, triple Doomsday Arc, triple Locust Heavy, like 3x1.
Sure.
2x1 regular Locust, 2 Death Marks, and 2 Immortal units.
I hate it. It sounds bad, but I believe you. I think double monolith is like, you're skewing. You're gonna do the skew thing. I don't think you should like run those normally. I also think monoliths are basically unplayable outside of Hypercrypt now.
Well, yeah, you only play them in Hypercrypt.
Before you could play them outside of that, and it was like,
why would you?
Why would you? Now it's like, you are never doing that.
No, you need the 3-inch to make the monolith work. It only exists in Hypercrypt.
Locusts going up is correct. You're still running them, so you just kind of like get attacks there.
Yep.
I think overall,
death marks went up because they're a 5-man in every list.
I think overall Necrons come out of this a winner.
I would say so.
I think Necrons
almost on the backs of DDAs going down.
Necrons you're gonna see a lot more Silent King, and
you're
probably
see a lot more Obeisance Phalanx.
You're gonna see a lot more Obeisance Phalanx, which is already pretty good. And yeah, like I think literally everything but the like Scorpec / Flayed One detachment, Annihilation Legion. Yeah, all the other 4 ones totally reasonable to run. I think like Hypercrypt is still gonna be annoying bullshit. Yep. But like, yeah, solid A tier. It's a great army.
Now that Obeisance is fixed and like works properly, I would even go as far as to say that I think Necrons have one of the best internal balances.
Yeah, they're definitely up there.
Like you can't go wrong unless you're playing Annihilation Legion.
Yeah, and honestly, all they have to do to change Annihilation Legion is just have it be half or less instead of or less.
Yep.
I don't know why Games Workshop is like obsessed with the less than half. It makes everything that relies on it so much worse than if they were just half. Please change it for like everything game wide, and it'll be great.
Yep.
Orcs.
I wish we had our orc expert to tell me about this.
Yeah.
Because like after watching some footage, one of the top orc players talking about this, he thinks that this army is cracked now.
I would tend to believe that orcs are going to be pretty good.
I think they're going to be insane.
Yeah. Also, not here. You now benefit from the WA, even if your war bosses were in vehicles before, which is good. That change was insane, and I don't know why they decided to do that. The previous one. This is how it should have always worked. Yeah. I think the WA being the rule that it is, or you have to call it at the start of the round, is still bad.
I think that'll change in December.
Yeah, I think it'll change in December. I also, as someone who plays an army with a terrible rule, it's not that bad. That's fine. Deal with it. You get advance in charge for 1 turn. Oh my god, it's so terrible.
And a 5-up invuln.
Yeah, like it's fine. I get that it feels bad, but like you guys are fine.
I will say, the Warhorde detachment, triple kill rig, like 5 trucks, a bunch of Beast Naga boys, a bunch of war bosses, a bunch of grots.
Yep.
I think that list is going to be very strong.
Yeah. I think the big mech with the shock attack gun, the guy who can go through walls, very strong. Yeah,
that guy's, and he went down to 65 points. That's huge.
I think there's a lot of stuff that's priced to move.
Yep. The infiltrator units back down to 120.
Yeah. I think orcs are going to be doing well. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I think
I don't know if they get out of C tier with this.
Yeah, I feel like they'll be floating around C tier.
But I put them at the higher end of C tier.
Yeah.
And if we get like a solid like Warhorde list, I can see that like swinging up really well into B, because we do here in the PNW have some of like the top orc players in the country.
We do. We have a very, very high amount of like good orc players.
So like I think us us specifically here in the PNW, orcs are something that we need to like think about in our army construction.
And really, the real thing that orcs are going to suffer with is just Pariah Nexus. Like, they're just not good at Pariah Nexus.
Yeah.
So like
that's
I think like they'll like kind of have to deal with it until we get to a new meta. with hopefully no secret missions, so just completely blank your pressure, and then they'll be good again. Yeah. But I think they're probably fine now.
I would agree.
And change the law.
Change the law.
Space Marines. Speaking of armies that aren't real,
look at what they did to Eradicator.
Yeah, you did not have to hit 3-mans. No one was running 3-mans.
Like the 6-man with the Apothecary. Is now 270.
Yeah. Also, I believe they nerfed Fire Discipline. They made it cost more.
Did they?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, they
40 points. Yeah.
Ugh.
Good. I mean that enhancement's insane.
It's super good, but holy shit.
Yeah, I think wait,
Element's cheap now.
Yeah.
Is that cheap enough?
Maybe. Who knows? If you're playing vanilla Space Marines, you're intentionally making your army worse.
I agree.
And that sucks. Sorry that GW decided that they're gonna have 4 different Space Marines that are all better than you.
Assault Intercessors with jump packs. The 10-mans are still priced to move.
Yeah. I mean, I think JPI's 5-man at 90 is not very good. They're basically just chaff.
I think Blood Angels really like this 10-man at 160.
Oh, for sure. If you're running an Invictor Tactical Warsuit, you're feeding. If you're running an ATV, you're feeding.
Yeah.
Ballistic Dreadnoughts are bad still.
Yeah.
Phobos armor, whatever.
I don't think any of this, vanilla Space Marines is, worth playing.
Yeah. I think Heavy Intercessors are interesting, especially in the Angelic Host Uppy Downy. Weird how it's always the non-codex compliant stuff.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, it's they nerfed the Eradicator Biologus Fire Discipline thing, which is good because it could just kill anything in Overwatch, and that was annoying.
Yeah.
Van Vets are dying preemptively for Blood Angel's perceived sins. If you're running a Terminator squad, you're inting. The Storm Speeders are interesting.
Oh, those are the little jet plane thing?
Yeah, I think those are actually priced to move now.
Yeah, those are weirdly tough to deal with. They all move 14.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see those crop up in Blood Angels, or I don't know, if someone wants to be a hero and run Raven Wing for Deathwing. Suppressors. Suppressors are the Uppy Downy guys, not Heavy Intercessors. They all sound the same. Assault Terminators, whatever.
I don't think anything here is
Stormlance got a slight nerf. It's fine.
You still get army-wide advance and charge.
Fall back and charge.
Yeah, it's fine.
Stormlance is fine. The real thing with Stormlance is that Space Wolves got hit because, again, Stormlance by itself was not a real army.
Speaking of Space Wolves,
yes,
let's. I'm just going to take this in because, I have lost 2 GTs this year, 2 Space Wolves.
Yeah, it's because Space Wolves are fucked up. Bjorn, bonk.
Fuck you, Bjorn.
Bjorn, honestly, at 190 might still be a run. The Vector is so good.
Fuck you, Thunderwolves.
So the thing with Thunderwolves is that data sheet is so fucking bananas. 240 might still be okay. It might still be runnable.
But then you don't get the fucking Wolfen to go with it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I don't want to do the math right now, but I don't know. Grimnar going up to 115, it's probably not worth it just to call the Wolfwaw.
I mean, because you never take him on foot. You always take him on Stormrider anyway.
I've only seen him on foot.
I've only ever seen him.
Oh, yeah, the ones I've played against, you just take him, you deep strike him, and then on round 2 or 3, you drop him down, go awoo, and then he just hides and sits and scores points. I think that's way better than having out
I've
there.
Seen him on Stormrider attached to Thunderwolf.
That's okay, sure. Longfangs are just anti-tank.
They're fine.
Skyclaws, I don't even know what that is. Hounds of Mordecai are just Reavers, so who cares? Wolfguard.
But they do Chaos Knight things. They make you take battle shots.
Yahoo. Yeah, I'm people say that Space Wolves got a big hit this time, but I'm just so traumatized by getting sent to wolf jail over and over again that I'll believe it when I see it. I desperately hope that they're now finally bad. please God, stop running Thunderwolves. I hate them so much.
I think they go from the bottom of S tier to like the middle of A.
Yeah, that's probably right.
I don't think they drop very far.
Yeah.
But they do drop a little.
Yeah.
Next, Tau Empire.
Yeah.
Now, this I think is really, really interesting.
It is. Crew Talks being able to be taken as a singleton is very interesting. As well as just getting cheaper. I think the Crew detachment, I've played against it now. With like piloted by a very good Tau player. I think
3-0 at a major open before he had to drop for personal reasons.
Yeah.
Undefeated day one with Crew.
Yeah, I think like Crude are actually very good. It's just an exhausting army to play. It's kind of AdMech-y and where you have to like nickel and dime everything.
Yep.
So it's like it is good. It's just a hard army to pilot. So people aren't really gonna bring it. And also I think people just think it's a meme, so they don't look at it. I think Crude is real. Especially with all these point cuts.
Especially with the cuts.
Yeah.
Crew is very real. I think I would put it number 2 in like my things I think are scary in the book.
Yeah. It's honestly, I think Tau is in a really good place.
Yes.
Rip to the Riptide, Rip to the Piranhas. I'm shocked the Skyray didn't get touched. That thing is bananas.
So good.
Farsight dropping is cool.
I think that's actually like kind of good for Ret Cadre.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because I've been seeing him taken fairly often in Ret Cadre.
Yes, that's like the place that you run him.
And
yeah,
I'm just gonna say it. I think Tau Empire you can put in 2 different places on the tier list.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing Ret Cadre or Kroot, low A.
I think just kind of overall low A. I think it's a really high skill army.
Kaoyun and Montka both you're kind of inting by playing. Because like
I think Montka is the worst attachment. I think Kaoyun is super acceptable. Like if you're running Kaoyun and you know what you're doing, I think it's
it's very strong.
Yeah.
But it
just plays very differently than Ret Cadre.
I think Ret Cadre is by far the strongest of the bunch.
Yeah.
But again, it's because we have the bonuses for being fast and moving.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Tau are in a great place. I would put them at A. The Tiger Shark is still a thing.
Yeah,
if you haven't played against it, boy, is that a interesting game.
It's wild. So, Thousand Suns.
Yes.
What in the last meta, several people had as the number 1 army of the game.
Correct.
But I pose a question. How can they be the number 1 army in the game when they didn't win a GT in this meta? Or they didn't.
I think they did win it. No, they won a GT.
They won like 1.
The thing is that they had the highest win rate of any army.
Sure.
So it's like,
but they're not taking events.
Sure. I think they were. If they weren't taking events, they were like the second undefeated or like second place.
Sure.
I think
at least for me, second place is just like first loser.
Oh, see, I come from Magic, where if you top 8'd, you won the event.
I also come from Magic.
Oh well, skill issue. Yeah, I think Sisters was the best army, and Thousand Suns was the second best army. The thing with Thousand Suns is they were also like the second best army last meta too, and just kind of got away with murder.
Oh, they've been consistently since the edition released a year and a half ago. They've been one of the top armies.
Yeah, I think the chickens are finally coming home to roost. I don't think T-Suns are bad. I think they've like gotten a little knock on their head, but like they're still like A tier.
So the meta Thousand Suns list, currently the only change they have to make, their 10-man rubric with Ahriman has to go to a 5-man.
I mean, that matters.
Or they just literally cut 5 rubrics somewhere.
Yeah,
the list went up 80 points.
Yeah, I mean, I will say the same thing for T-Suns as I did for Sisters. You could not fix this with points. The problem with the army is the rules. The rules are way, way, way too strong. And like
once they get a codex and that shit gets split up into the other detachments, totally fine.
Cult of Magic is just an insane. It's the same thing as the Custodes Index, where it's just like it is fundamentally unbalanceable because it has literally everything you could ever want.
Yeah, and well, the army rule.
Oh, the army rule is also shenanigans.
All of my psychic weapons have dev.
That's the detachment rule. Oh, the army rule is your cabal.
Sorry. Yeah.
But honestly, like I'm so fucking sick of playing against T-Suns. The thing is that I honestly really like playing against T-Suns because it's always a really close matchup. But every single time I played them, I'm like, this is such fucking bullshit that I have to deal with this. You're like basically just cheating the whole time.
I personally have 100% win rate into Thousand Sons this edition, and like we're talking one of the top T-Suns players in the nation. Like I have not dropped a game to this army.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it helps that like I have the army on my shelf and just know it inside and out. But if you don't know this army inside and out or have consistent reps into it, it's going to.
Yeah,
I don't know how you would.
I think T-Suns has the most damage of any army in the game. I don't think the most theoretical damage that they can do. And if you haven't played against T-Suns, the first time you play against T-Suns, you will lose to T-Suns. Because you will not respect what they can do, and you won't know how to deal with it. The more you play into them, the more you realize like the things you can kind of allow, the things you can get away with, what you need to sacrifice, all of that. But I think the army is still way too strong. I think Magnus is absurd, even at force. Like you're never not taking Magnus because your army doesn't work without him.
I think you take Magnus until he hits 500.
Oh, I think you take Magnus until he's like 700 because I think without Magnus, your army doesn't work. Like you lose like, what is it, 6 Cabal points and then also 4 Cabal points, but you also lose the increase the speed. You lose your insane rerolls to hit and wound.
Yeah. You lose a lot without Magnus for sure.
Or +1, whatever.
But the reason why I say you probably stop taking him when he hits 500 is because you get all of your Cabal points back plus more units.
That's fair. I think what this does kill is it kills the like Warhammer Championship like triple Vortex Beast, triple Forge Fiend, like the heavy armor T-Suns version.
Magnus walking his dogs.
Yeah. Sure. I don't really think that was a thing that was being played outside of teams.
That was a skew list for teams.
Yeah,
almost exclusively.
So it's like the base T-Suns list doesn't change a whole lot. They're still gonna like just keep getting away with it until you change the army itself. Like Doombolt needs to have a fail state. You can't just be like, oh, I rolled a 1 on Doombolt. All right, here's like 7 mortal wounds still. I know it's not 7.
It's D3.
I know. Still dumb.
Wild.
Your head should pop on a 1. It's too much output. It's too safe in the output. You have all the tricks available to you. If you like, this is another army with an infinite skill ceiling. Like the better, as you will just keep being better.
100%.
Yeah, it's I think top of A, bottom of S.
Yeah, I definitely think Thousand Sons has bad matchups into Guard, Sisters, Blood Angels, GSC.
Yeah, they're gonna get hit pretty hard by the top. The top of the meta is now much more hostile to them.
Yep.
I think that's why they're gonna drop and not because of their points nerfs.
Exactly. I agree with that.
All right.
This last on our list?
No, World Eaters.
Oh,
but almost.
They're not real. They're kind of real. Anyway, Nids.
Why the fuck is the Exocrine not nerfed here? I can't believe they got away with it. The Exocrine and the Tyrannifex got like unchanged.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Carnifex is coming down is really interesting.
Sure.
One Eye going up, I think, kind of negates it.
I definitely think it's offset here.
It's offset. And then what else?
Von Ryan's Leapers going down is interesting.
It is interesting. Lictor going up, sure. 60 points for a Lictor, you're still running them.
Still taking
They're really good. Winged Hive Tyrant, sure. You're not. You're never not running just the normal Hive Tyrant because of the aura.
The lethal hits aura.
Yeah, I think Nids were in a really good place, and
I still think they're in a really good place.
The rest of the meta got worse around them.
Yep. I think that takes Nids up in the tier.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think they just like absolutely stomp on Blood Angels with Exocrines, the flat 3 damage.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they're just really strong.
I would say Tyranids are a solid A tier army.
Yes.
That have good matchups into some of the S tier stuff.
Yeah.
I think they have great matchups into Guard and into Blood Angels. They will struggle into Sisters. They will struggle into Gene Stealers.
Yeah. That is true.
Thousand Suns will still dunk on them.
Yeah. I think they have like 3 detachments that are super viable. Honestly, all of their detachments are viable.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot about Unending Swarm.
It's not. Can't argue.
Also Assimilation Swarm. God. I think Crusher, super fine.
I like Crusher as the shooting army that we saw in WDC.
I think Crusher's a shooting army. Also, bless you.
Oh. Where that came from.
Crusher, just like with the Fex drop, is cool. Invasion Fleet's just really good. Nexus, also pretty good.
Yep.
And then Vanguard is like a bunch of tricksy bullshit. I think it's less good than the other ones, but it can really get you.
If I was to like snap my fingers and own a Nids army, it would be the Crusher Stampede shooting list.
Yeah.
It would be triple Exocrine, double Tyrannofex, double Maliceptor.
Yeah, it's so... Yeah, the Maliceptor didn't get changed either. It's a problem.
Here, no. You have so many wounds at such high toughness.
Yeah.
That just have disgusting shooting on top of all of it. It's too much.
Yeah, I think very solid A tier army.
100%.
And
finally, last but not least, why?
Why? I mean, honestly, like
now we don't get the funny 420 meme.
Yeah, I mean, they were doing fine ostensibly. Like all of their metrics were kind of just like
they had like a 50% win rate.
Yeah, they had like a 50% win rate, and then like their over rep was like it was either their T whip or their over rep was really high, and the other one was really low.
Sure.
But like, the real thing is, it's now we're back to like we finally had like 2,000 point world leader lists, and now we're back to like 1960.
Yeah, like because you have to play Angron.
You have to play Angron.
You have to play some amount of Exalted 8-bound.
Yeah,
you have to play at least 1, maybe 2 units of Jackals.
Yep. And then the Master of Executions. I think you're still bringing.
He only went up 10 points, right?
He only went up 10 points with the Berserker Glaive also taking its nerf from last time. I'm like starting to feel like he might not be worth it. I think in a world of Blood Angels, he probably is. He does get fight first. The thing with fights first in this army is that Berserkers are so anemic when they aren't charging. Like if they get charged, they don't really do a lot of damage. Like you're losing out.
Sure.
You're losing out on your breakpoints for the most part.
Sure.
So you're effectively getting -1 to wound on a lot of stuff, and also you're losing 10 attacks total.
I think where the Master of Executions and your Berserker shine is because of Pariah Nexus's 1 CP heroic intervention.
Yes.
I think that is where you shine, and you live for your GTs to have multiple missions with prepared positions.
Yeah.
Like
that, and yeah, I don't know. They'll be fine. It just like stings. The Demon Prince with wings going down doesn't matter. You're not taking him.
Yeah. Like none of that matters. He doesn't matter. Demon Prince doesn't matter. Defiler, Forge Fiend, Hellbrute, Helldrake, none of those matter.
Yeah, I honestly think the Hellbrute is undertaken. I think it's super solid. It's just
he has the Murder Fang rule, right?
Yes. The real problem with them is that it just messes with the math, and you end up having to like cut a full unit for him because you end up at like 2005 points.
Yep.
And you don't have a way to like save 5 points. You have a way to save 60. They just need a codex, honestly. Like, they need a codex with a couple more units, and then they can really start like making lists.
Now, and for context,
yeah,
I used to own a World Eaters army. I have since moved on from it.
Yeah, I play a good amount of World Eaters.
I remember in Leviathan, there was a really strong World Eaters list that was Angron plus Lord of Skulls plus stuff. Has Pariah killed that?
I think so.
Or is there a world where we can see that sort of coming back?
I don't think the Lord of Skulls is really where you want to be for World Eaters. And I think if you are playing Lord of Skulls, it's probably better in like Pact Bound as CSM.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't think that you are. I don't think that you're running a Lord of Skulls and like seeing better results than normal, especially with sisters just being like, bye.
Well, the Lord of Skulls does let you manipulate your dice. Yeah,
it's true. I've never really. I feel like I've never really had an issue with like not having the right dice in World Eaters. Like even though Favorite of Corn got the nerf, like
it got nerfed pretty hard.
It got nerfed really hard. And I think unfairly.
I would second that.
But it's like, aside from not getting advance in charge on like turn 1, I've never been like no, I don't have my like lethals or whatever. It's always just been like I roll them and I'm like, okay, I take like the 2 that I want.
Which is almost always feel no pain plus something.
Yeah, usually. Yeah, and like the fact that the plus 2 inches to movement and the feel no pain are just kind of like you will get them no matter what means that you're pretty comfortable getting the other thing that you want. I think World Eaters are fine. I don't think they changed much. I think that you're just more sad to play them than you were. It's like an emotional nerf. The real thing is like, is the meta better for them than it was? That is unclear. I think Guard really loves having a bunch of 3 wound stuff that they can shoot at.
I put them just under Tyranids on my tier list.
Oh, actually, no, I think they're going to be doing much worse because Aquilins exist. Yeah. And they just like ruin your life.
For sure. That's why I put them under Tyranids.
Yeah.
So I would say like World Eaters for me make up the bottom of A tier.
I would put them at B, just kind of like in the middle of the pack next to Votan.
Sure. I can see that. I feel like that's a fine placement. But I will say, on the overall, I feel like this MFM, the difference between your S tier army and your B tier army is a lot smaller than it used to be.
Yeah, I think overall the balance is in a really good place.
For sure.
But I think the real thing that annoys me is this like weird hamstringing of themselves they're doing, where they're like, we have to only change points now. We can't change rules. I'm like, that's stupid. Balance the game. It's fine if you have to change rules to do that, because now we have like this weird holding pattern where they're like, all right guys, in 2 months we're gonna change the rules for like a bunch of other stuff. Like, okay, I can just do that now and then give us like a real meta where we're not just waiting for that.
Like, the thing I'm interested in, if we go over here, we find it, find the article.
That one. Yeah.
Find the article.
Where they're like, hey guys, here's these balance updates we wanted to do. I'm like, yeah, sure would have been cool if you had done those.
So you see, they specifically call out Miracle Dice.
Yep.
And Cult Ambush.
Yep.
And the better experience for Codex Space Marine.
Yeah.
Like,
which could be a lot of things. It would be so funny if they were like, non-codex compliant stuff, can't access this anymore.
Like, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Great. Cool. Addressing Miracle Dice later this year. Great. Cool. Cult Ambush.
Great.
Now,
cool.
Hear me out. Yeah. What if Cult Ambush is one number better on either end of the dice spectrum? So, like, on turns 1 and 2, you get your unit back on a 3-up. And on turns 3, 4, 5, you get them back on a 4-up. But you never get a one-shot weapon back.
That's still way too good. It's
Still
just
way too good.
it's just like you're playing with like 3,000 points consistently.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that Cult Ambush as it is just kind of unbalanceable, and they just need to change the mechanic.
What if they give us back our 9-10 rule?
That would be cool. I think that would be
deploy.
I think that would be awesome.
Give us a new Cult Ambush. Take our points down 5% across the board. Let us deploy as blips. Give blips a movement speed of 9. All of our infantry move 6. All of our vehicles and bikes move 12. So we split the difference. Make blips move 9. And your opponent, you don't reveal blips until your opponent can draw a line of sight to the blip from a model. And then you decide what that blip is.
That's funny.
I think that's like an actually fair and balanced version of it.
At night, the blips is just like you could deploy stuff on turn 1 or 2, right? Or it was like if they got within 9 inches, you had to drop stuff.
If they could draw line of sight to it.
Oh, was it just draw line of sight?
That's all it was. It was that easy.
Oh, interesting.
Blips in 9th edition, I believe, moved 8.
Okay.
But yeah, you could shuffle around your blips and stuff. And then as soon as your opponent could draw line of sight, you just revealed what the blip was.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to make that choice until then.
I mean, yeah, I think it's better than what it is right now. Really, I just wish that they hadn't decided to take 4 months off of releasing codexes. I think we're in a dire need for more stuff to come out. Especially because Imperial Agents doesn't count as a codex.
Well, here's the thing that I'm there's one Chaos army with a codex.
Yeah. Well, it's okay because this year will be the year of Chaos because it's the only other thing that hasn't been released.
Only faction.
Yeah.
It's the only
only super faction with no shit. Yeah.
It's wild to me. As far as Xenos armies,
yeah,
the only one missing a codex is Votann. Oh, and elves. Both flavors of elves.
Both flavors of elves. And Eldari are getting theirs
that
soon.
was announced.
Yeah. So Drukhari and Votann will not have theirs.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Votann came out in 9th, though.
Yeah.
It's going to take time for them to get their second wave together.
Yeah. And Drukhari need a range refresh. All their you can't even get some of their units anymore.
I was looking at recasters for our friend at the club who just picked up Drukhari. We were looking at some recasters for things that you just can't order anymore, like the Beastmaster.
Yeah. A core part of that army.
Yeah, you just can't order that. It's 5 separate models all put together into one data sheet. A Court of the Archon, same way.
Yep.
It's
very strange.
Boggles my mind.
But yeah, they just need to release stuff. It's ideally in a perfect world, there's a full year of this edition where everyone has their codex and they're just changing and updating stuff through that. They've shown the ability to, give Grey Knights an actual gun on their Dread Knights, which changed the whole army, or
made the army relevant.
Yeah, added detachments or changed them wildly. They could just do that and not have to rely on codexes coming out every 7 months. Yeah, it's
so meta moving forward, if you had to give your top 3 armies and your bottom 3 armies, what are you saying?
I am saying top is Sisters, T-Sons, and Guard. GSC honorary mention because it's just such a wild card.
Yep.
And bottom is Chaos Knights. I mean, I guess technically Imperial Agents / generic Space Marines.
Sure.
They don't really I'll say generic Space Marines because it's not really an army.
Yeah.
And then either Imperial Knights or Dark Angels, probably.
Okay.
Yeah, the bottom is less clear to me because I think everyone is kind of come to the middle.
I can see that. For me, I'm gonna go with Astra Militarum, Sisters of Battle, and Blood Angels, with my honorary mention going to Gene Stealer Cults as well.
Right, Blood Angels, God.
I don't think Thousand Suns are in that top 3 anymore.
Yeah, I would actually. I forgot Blood Angels was an army. Yeah, I would also put Blood Angels.
Great. So we agree on our top 3 and our honorary mention. For me, bottom 3, I'm gonna go with Chaos Knights. I'm gonna, until we see more, I'm gonna go with Orcs.
Yeah. Honestly, I would actually say Demons.
And then I was gonna put
Demons. Yeah, Chaos Knights, Demons, and Vanilla Space Marines is where I would.
There's one really good list for Ultramarines. It's their Vanguard list.
Yeah, I think that list is actually not good, and John Lennon is just an insane cracked player.
I mean,
I've never seen that list do well aside from when he is playing it. And I've played against it multiple times and be like, oh, this list is terrible. I'm just gonna fucking kill everything.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. But yeah, that's my take. That's your take. Overall, I think top of the meta and the bottom of the meta are coming to meet in the middle.
Yeah,
I think that's a really good place to be.
Yeah.
And honestly, while the game is kind of getting to a almost stale point with the lack of releases,
yeah,
I'm really excited for the next few months of Warhammer.
I think Warhammer's like objectively in a better place than it has been in a very long time.
I agree.
I also think the thing that we didn't talk about, secret missions getting nerfed, where you can't score primary on turn 5 if you pick a secret mission. That will help a lot.
I think that changes a lot of like the desire to play a secret mission.
Yeah. In my perfect world, secret missions don't exist because I think catch-up mechanics are stupid, but that nerf will help.
It's okay to lose a game that you're losing.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just fine.
Yeah. But yeah, I think ultimately the game is in a good place. And I like have more faith in their ability to balance and design things than I did before.
Yes, especially given the points differentials between 5 and 10 man units, or 3 and 6, etc.
Yeah, they're slowly starting to like find a new ways to balance stuff. It would be awesome if there was like a way to like, maybe take a couple extra points to get like a different weapon or something, some sort of war gear cost.
We're too far gone from that.
Yeah, no, it's not happening.
The good old days.
Yeah.
If you want that kind of play, I present the Horus Heresy.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I hate Space Marines, so
yeah, same. That's why I'm not playing it. But with that all being said, thank you guys so much for being here. This is episode 1 of the Bald Brawlers, and we will catch you right back here next time. Maybe with a battle report.